Hi guys, it's Mrs. Millison. Okay, this video is going to be very short and sweet. I just want to talk about comments and conditions. Okay, I am on College Board's website. For every AP test, they have a little section here where you can go look at previous FRQs and their scoring information. So I'm just going to look at a couple. All right, let's look at 2018. So these are the FRQs, the free response questions from 2018. So this section is talking about comments and conditions. Comments and conditions, we know what a comment is. We learned about comments in the very first unit. We've got our slash with our star, with our asterisks. So comments are just plain text in your Java program. It's not runnable code. Okay, so we put comments throughout our code to leave notes and information to whoever's going to be reading this, including ourselves. Okay. So this one, I don't know what this is. This question involves reasoning about a simulation of a frog hopping in a straight line. The frog attempts to hop to a goal within a specified number of hops. The simulation is encapsulated in the following frog simulation class. You will write two of the methods. Okay, so here's our frog simulation class. Okay, we're learning about classes. It doesn't look like, these are our two instance variables. Okay, so we have some comments here just to kind of give us some information. So private int goal distance. This is the distance in inches from the starting point to the goal. Good to know. Private int max hops is the maximum number of hops allowed to reach the goal. Okay. So now I come down here to this section, public frog simulation. Well, this looks like a constructor. And it is because it's asking for two integer inputs. So dist is going to be attached to goal distance instant variable, and num hops is going to be attached to maximum hops instance variables. Okay, so let's read the comments above. This constructor constructs a frog simulation where dist is the distance in inches from the starting position to the goal, and num hops is the maximum number of hops allowed to reach the goal. Again, just some information about your code, because when you guys are going to be taking your AP test, or hopefully when you're going to be coding for a job in the real world, you're going to be working on code that other people have written. Okay, so you've got to be able to read these comments to figure out what the code's doing, what a specific part of the code is doing in relation to the overall code. Okay. So here we have a precondition. Whoops, we have a little precondition. Oh, I can't even get that highlighted. Okay. Dist and num hops. So both of these values have to be greater than 0. Okay. It's not going to restrict us. If you did public frog simulation, you put in a negative number here, it's going to run, but something, you want to follow the preconditions, or you want to make sure the code will run correctly by making sure the preconditions are adhered to. Okay, so again, as we go through the course, we'll be practicing FRQs, and that's what I spend a lot of time doing at the very beginning is reading all the comments on the preconditions. So it helps you understand what the code is doing. Okay, so that was our constructor. Let's finish this one. Now it looks like we have some methods. Okay, we've got a private method here that yields an int. Okay, so this returns an integer representing the distance in inches to be moved when the frog hops. Okay, very interesting. No parameter. Okay, it says implementation not shown. I guess we don't need to write it either. Then we come down to this next section, public Boolean simulate. This looks like one we're going to have to do in part A. So we know it's going to yield, it's going to return a Boolean. So I should have a return statement that's going to return a Boolean variable. Okay, I'd probably have to create the Boolean variable at the beginning of the method. So let's see what this says. This simulates a frog attempting to reach the goal as described in part A. Returns true if the frog successfully reached or passed the goal during the simulation, and false otherwise. So it looks like we're going to have to do some sort of if statement. Okay, but again, it's nice. It tells you what you're building. Okay, so you know that true and false, what the conditions are that have to be met in order for the Boolean that you create inside here to be true or to be false. Okay, so these comments are very, very helpful. Okay, let's just look at the last one. Let's see, public double run simulations. This has a number, an integer for a parameter. So this runs num simulations. So if we put 10 in there, it'll run 10 simulations and returns the proportion of simulations in which the frog successfully reached or passed the goal. Okay, so it sounds like it's going to be counting as we're running through the simulation. It'll probably be counting the number of times the frog reached his goal. And again, here's another precondition. Num has to be greater than 0. We can't do negative simulations, and we're not going to do 0 simulations. We're going to probably do at least 1. Okay? So that's what this section is all about, reading and understanding the comments and the preconditions. And they're all going to be very different depending on the class and what the description of the constructors and the methods are going to be. Okay? So the more FRQs we practice, the more we will sit and we will take some time to read all these comments and understand what the code wants to do, okay? Because that will help you write the code. Okay, I'm trying to think what's on the second page. Is that to start? Okay, this one's going to start writing it. All right, so that's my quick little video on comments and conditions. I will see you all next time.